Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, we're going to talk about how to make an avoidant step up, as the commenter requested. This is a request, as majority of my videos are, but the comment was, I don't remember who it was, so I apologize for that. A couple of you guys requested it, so you guys might remember. A lot of you guys were asking like how to make them actually address your needs and actually do something about it and care, not just have some awareness of it or apologize, but you want some actual action, is what I'm understanding based on some of these comments, which is incredibly valid and should be happening in relationships. So how can we get that to occur? There's a couple steps that I think is important. It's not a one size fits all approach, but I think it's important. If anyone wants to learn some of these skills, it can benefit you guys in general to some extent. And the first one is address your needs and concerns in a way that comes from genuine care for them. This one is really important and can really drive the point home if it's done in a certain way. And we're going to talk about that, okay? So let's say, for example, you are genuinely worried about them coming home late. And a lot of the nation, the United States, we had like a snowstorm. I had some sleet. I told you guys that. It was cold. We had a little bit of sleet in my area. Up north, they had snow. So it depends on where you are. But I know we had that. And during that time, a lot of people were worried about their significant others or jobs or whatever it is. And let's say, for example, your partner, I don't know, they were out late with their friends, whatever it is, and maybe you guys don't live together and you text them, can you just text me when you get home? And maybe you said something like, I would really prefer if you get home before midnight because, I don't know, the snowstorm's gonna arrive or whatever it is, right? And maybe they get annoyed because they're like, I don't want you to tell me what to do. And you can say, the reason that you're saying this is simply and only because there is a snowstorm coming and you just want to make sure they're safe, like they're alive. And you're not saying they have to do it. That's just something that would make you comfortable. That is a sign of genuine care. Now, it depends on the rapport. You can say it more harshly if you guys have been together for a long time. If you guys just started dating, it might be a little different. You can say something like completely different topic, but similar vein of genuine care. I want to share something with you that's been on my mind. I feel like you keep me at an arm's length. I know you don't mean it, but I would like more romance in our relationship, like compliments or spending more time together. It's because I care about you, and it's not because I'm criticizing you. Some will say yes, some will say no. And what happens is sometimes when they say no, that doesn't mean necessarily that it's just no at this moment. A lot of people don't understand that because a lot of avoidants deactivate, and that is not an actual healthy boundary. They're not actually saying no. They're saying no because they're triggered sometimes. And so how can you check if it's a trigger versus a genuine boundary? Ask again later. Further prompt at another time. Remind them in a month or so or a year, whatever, depending on the trigger. And then see if they've made an adjustment about it. If they haven't, then you know that this relationship might not be valuable. However, if they have, it's important to show that this is already them stepping up a little bit. And sometimes they need more prompting. The next one is focus on creating a safe space. And this is important that we can expand on. That means you don't have that many frequent fights. You can still have disagreements because that's part of a relationship. You're going to have to work things out, especially in year 2 and 3, a lot of disagreements. But decreasing that can really help, reminding them that you understand them, appreciating the things that they do for you, creating a safe space by even saying, I want to make our relationship a safe space for both of us. So let me know if there's anything that you suggest or would like me to do. Even mentioning things about your acknowledgement about certain things. You might say, sometimes I notice I pick fights. I'm working on it. Let me know if you notice progress. Allowing them to feel like they're allowed to have input can help them to step up. And the reason why is because by you creating a safe space, they put you in like a box, so to speak, where they think you're emotionally stable. And I'm not saying you're unstable, but this is how avoidants behave because this is how they were taught when they were a kid. Certain things they perceive as unstable. Bring up continuous fights. They think that's an unstable behavior. And it might be, or it might not be. And so if you're unstable, there's a part of them that subconsciously invalidates everything you say. I'm not saying this is wrong or right. I'm just telling you the truth. And so if you come across more stable to them, now things that you say are more valid to them. So if you say, I don't like that you keep the kitchen dirty after you cook, please wipe down the stove. They're like, okay, this person is emotionally stable. So what they're saying is valid. So I'm going to do it. And so if they think you're unstable, even if you said that exact same thing, they might dismiss you. I know it's unfair, but it's true. And so that's why this is important as well, because it allows you to create that space where you are seen as someone who's more valid with what you have to say. I'm sorry it has to be like that, but it's just true, and I'm just telling you the truth. The next one is focus on some independence without completely detaching yourself from the relationship. If you want to go back to school, take a couple classes. You want to improve your cooking, take a cooking class. You want to learn new things, learn new skills, do whatever you need to do to get there. And focusing on that allows them to, it's the same thing, respect you to some extent. And it also allows them to feel like the relationship is not based on their reaction. It's not like a very heavy, how would I even describe it? Like there's not much pressure if the relationship is not perfect, because they know the relationship's not going to be perfect. And so if you have things outside of the relationship, it's less pressure for them to perform and do better. And with the less pressure, they actually want to perform and do better, because it's less likely for them to bump into their fear of failure. And so they're more comfortable stepping up because the stakes are lower, just being honest. The next one is that sometimes what you can do, and I've made a video on this, you can challenge them in a way that both of you get more comfortable with compromise. Intellectual conversations. That's really important, because it allows them to compromise in ways that are less strict for them emotionally. It's something that they're more comfortable with because their skill set is more leaning in this direction. And so they feel like less failure, less incompetent. And so if you intellectually challenge them and they learn compromise in that space, they can translate that to other parts. Financial conversations, compromising in that area. Maybe they say stocks is a great way to benefit yourself financially. And you're saying, yeah, I get that, but I'd rather save and lean more into real estate, even if it's a more long-term investment or it takes a little longer. And maybe they're saying stocks is easier because anybody can do it and not everyone can afford real estate. So you're having this conversation and both have valid perspectives, just different timing, different financial investments, etc. However, you guys are learning to compromise in that space. You can say, you're right, I guess that makes sense. I'm going to open up a Roth. Or they might say, you're right, maybe I'll invest in land. And so there's compromise. But it's happening in a different space than just the relationship. Building something together is another way. If you guys are building you know how on some websites, they will order what is it called? Like a modular couch or sofa, where you get pieces so you can arrange it depending on how you want. You can do that type of project together where you guys can compromise, but it's not directly in the relationship. So you learn those skills and they get more comfortable. During these times, you want to use compromising skills. You want to be yourself and express your genuine self and expect them to understand your side while still compromising. Those skills can be translated. The next one is acknowledge their efforts out loud. All you have to do is say, even if you don't feel it, just try it and see how much a difference it makes. You might say, I appreciate you being there. I appreciate the changes that you've made for me. It means a lot. The next one is ask them to acknowledge your efforts. You might say, hey, I've been trying to manage my emotions and become more independent. Have you noticed it? This will make them feel like, oh, you care about this relationship. Now I'm going to step up too. And the last one is when rapport is stronger. Ask them if they feel like they've made progress. This is important, but you can't do it like when you're first dating. It's going to have to be throughout the relationship, because a lot of times avoidance, there's a part of them that does want to step up, but they just don't want to fail. And so if they're able to evaluate themselves and they do feel like they've changed, this is motivation for them. So let's summarize. The first one is address your needs and concerns in a way that comes from genuine care. Typically by saying or adding at the end of the sentence, I'm only saying this because I care about you. And we talked about prompting earlier with that particular aspect. The next one is focus on creating a safe space. That means having less frequent fights and being more understanding towards them. 3, focus on independence. The fourth one is challenge them in ways that can be both comfortable with compromise, but usually outside of the relationship space. So financial conversations, building something together. The next one is acknowledging their efforts. The 6th one is ask them to acknowledge your efforts. And the 7th one is when rapport is stronger, ask them if they feel like they made progress. And even a sub-point of that one, in general, asking about anything that you want from them or they want from you, see if there's progress in a couple years or a year or a couple months, and seeing if the rapport is part of the issue. Because a lot of times with avoidance, they say they don't want to do something because rapport and trust is not strong enough yet. But if you're noticing the needle is moving and it's changing based on the rapport, that's a good sign that they're going to step up. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.